2, 1. We can get started. Welcome everyone. We are here for the launch event of the ATL Space Challenge in collaboration with Indian Space Research Organization and with CBSE, Central Board of Secondary Education. We're privileged to have three esteemed speakers with us today for the launch event. We have Dr. Chintan Vaishnav, the Mission Director for ATL Innovation Mission. We have with us Dr. Sudhir, who is the Director, CBPO, ISRO. And we have with us Sri Manoj Ahuja, who is the Chairman for Central Board of Secondary Education. Welcome all of you. Thank you so much for joining us for this launch event. With that, I will hand it over to Dr. Chintan Vaishnav to conduct the event and officially launch the Space Challenge.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Dipali and the ATL team. I am really delighted that we are in some ways springing this surprise on the ATL community by launching this space challenge right on the next day of the Teachers' Day. Even more delighted that it's happening by coming together of three great programs. So, of course, ATL Innovation Mission, which I can call as a great program without being biased at all. We have ISRO represented by Dr. Sudhir Kumar, and we have CBSE represented by Sri Manoj Ahuja. AIM, as we know, has always envisioned to foster entrepreneurship, innovation, curiosity in young minds, and create technological solutions that contribute towards solving problems now and in the future. And we are continuously coming up with opportunities for students, their mentors, their in charges, etc., to work together. Of course, not to forget parents. For the World Space Week that's coming up, the ATL Space Challenge 2021 is what we are here to launch, and it'll be a step in the direction. Again, in engaging students in creative expression. AIM is launching this challenge, which is a one-of-its-kind challenge, because this is the first time we are launching a challenge which is not just limited to ATLs or schools where there are ATLs. We are opening this challenge up to anybody who wants to participate. So we really hope that many students will enthusiastically participate. As you know, we're also observing the 75th anniversary of India's independence, as it is termed this year, the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. So in some ways, in our minds, this opening this challenge up to all students is a form of freedom that we are going to experience through this challenge. Of course, the challenge, we are launching this challenge in the context of the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, but we are launching it in a very interesting context to me. If you think about when the most intense form of creativity is expressed by people, it happens when there is the most intense form of constraints in confronting them. And while the idea of space always excites people of all ages, so that is the underlying characteristic of thinking about space, right? But more importantly to me, the idea of exploring topics that are related to space need us to think in contexts where the constraints are so different than the constraints in which our world operates. And because those constraints are so significant, severe, the level of creativity that's expressed is also commensurately significant. And so I think that's the real promise of this opportunity as more and more students participate. We have seen, as you know, a recent example in how we have addressed problems when we were confronted with the pandemic. We invented a vaccine in a record time, and you would almost every day, even today, you open the newspaper and you will see somebody or the other creatively solving a problem that they didn't have a year ago, but today they do. So this is a great opportunity. I'm very excited about it once again. And of course, the ATL Space Challenge is for all young innovators, teachers, mentors, as I said. And we are envisioning that these young folks who will join us in this challenge will create some innovations that not only help them learn about the space, maybe come up with something that the space program can itself use, but as it is the case, will lead to spillovers on other applications for the society. So that's our hope. This challenge is structured in four different opportunities. First is ideas that explore space. These are ideas where we are looking for solutions to raise awareness about space and the universe. The second are ideas which address reaching the space or reach space, where solutions can enable living in space better, easier in the future. The third set of ideas we're looking forward to are inhabiting the space, where again solutions can aid extended human presence in the space and sustaining in space. And the fourth and the final category of ideas are leveraging the space, where we're expecting solutions that will help utilize technology to resolve Earth's geographical and developmental challenges by understanding the space. So once again, let me summarize. There are four categories of ideas that we think would be wonderful to have. First is explore the space. Second, reach the space. Third, inhabit the space. And fourth, leverage the space. So last but not the least, both of our partner agencies, ISRO as well as CBSC, have agreed to offer exciting prizes. So that's also something added to look forward to. So once again, we're extremely excited to launch this challenge in the context of the Space Week coming up. And with that, let me invite my colleagues here, Sudhirji first, and then Shri Manoj Ahuja to also address the crowd. Over to you, Deepali, for the next steps.
Thank you, Dr. Chintan, for those words and for taking everyone through what the Space Challenge really entails. And most importantly, for the first time, this challenge is open for all students, ATL, non-ATLs, and with collaboration with CBS and ISRO, it has made it possible for us to expand our reach. I'll invite Dr. Sudhir to say a few words and just open this event.
Thank you, Deepali. Mr. Dr. Chintan, Dr. Manoj, very my old friends Ronak, Dipali. Very nice to see you. First, thanks a lot for giving me an opportunity to share with through this platform, Niti Aayog platform, to the various ATL students, faculty members, and other people. To start with, I was very happy because when Dr. Ramanan came to us and gave this topic that ATLs are there, where some kind of technology partnership or mentorship is required from scientific community, I was thrilled. One aspect was last year happened to be the centenary year for our father of space program, Dr. Vikram Sarabhai. We had taken our achievements as well as scientific principles and thoughts across the country. Almost over, I should say, 110 locations, we have conducted the exhibitions, shows, then competitions, and there was an amazing concept, space on wheels. We have realized 6 mobile units with a lot of models, AV shows, etc., which has roamed around the country, all 6 regions. One unit we have given it to each and every region, including Northeast. It has gone touched the Mandi and Kanyakumari, that side, Arunachal Pradesh, up to almost, I should say, the Saurashtra region, including Delhi, Uttar Pradesh, of course, even remote areas like Odisha, Chhattisgarh. It has created an amazing impact. In fact, the parliamentary committee, honorable ministers of the parliament, when they came and when we are projected, they were also amused and amazed to note the achievements. With that concept, we could see how potential the students are for receiving such kind of activities. Space is one thing. In the Indian Space Organization, under the Department of Space, is responsible for building infrastructure, the space domain, and building and launching the satellites and launch vehicles and applications. But our focus would be improving the technology at par whatever the fundamental research that we do inside the research area, research labs, should percolate to industry as well as the students. Even once the students get to know the applications, how actually a mobile is working, how the deep communications are all about, when some part of his amazing thing, that is space exploration, exoplanets, what is beyond universe, what is interstellar spaces, how the space objects will function. But second thing is, as Dr. Chintan mentioned, reaching the space transportation. Whether you call it as starts with water rockets, starts with model rockets, how it's a, these are all the fundamentals, Newton's laws, which will be turned to applications and experiencing it for different. Even when I was deputed to Vienna for some kind of space university program, I was loving to play with water rockets at that time, maybe 15 years back. Now I could see the same space clubs we have implemented where such kind of experiments are being done. So Niti Aayog formulated ATL Innovation Machine to inculcate the spirit of innovation and entrepreneurship in India. In a big way, Niti Aayog is collaborating with ISRO in all the platforms. Of course, ISRO with a multiple talented scientists under the leadership of Dr. Sivan has agreed to mentor the students, innovators, and startups for our country's aims into initiatives through ARISE, ATL Incubation Center, ATL Community Incubation Centers, and ATL Tinkering Labs. We have adopted around 100 ATLs, and we are interested to adopt some more, provided if the schools are coming forward for mentorship. Why? Because these are all some of the things, we take pride and joy when our students when our scientists approach the students in narrating the stories. It will be amazing. But of course, today the CBSE also formally requested, Mr. Saha requested ISRO chairman for a collaboration along with the Vigyan Bharati and Vigyan Prasar. We have been talking with CBSE how we can take this particular movement of space, technology, etc., to the nook and corner of the country, to all CBSE schools. That is in a way. But of course, taking the pride of Azad Ki Amrit Mahotsav, 75 years of celebrations of the country, and centenary celebrations of two of our legendary heroes. One is Dr. Vikram Sarabhai, another Professor Satish Dhawan. We take pride in launching these challenges, 4 challenges as it is named by Dr. Chintan: explore space, reach space, inhabit space, leverage space using the current technologies. We are happy to partner with the challenge. As it was told, we are also take joy and pride in collaborating with AIM as well as CBSE to recognize the talent, young talent, interested talent. Yes, as he said, we can share definitely some of the gifts or memories to these winners, and let us see how this program will carry. And I hope this program should be there each and every year, so that this tempo will be maintained. I urge all the young students to take this opportunity and share your ingenious ideas with us. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sudhir. And it is indeed a very exciting collaboration for AIM to partner with ISRO on this, as well as many other initiatives that we're working together on. I'd now request Shri Manojji to please say a few words and address our students, teachers, and the schools who are participating in this space challenge.
Thank you, Dipali, for inviting me to this function. Dr. Chintan Vaishnav, Mission Director, ATL Innovation Mission. Dr. Sudhir Kumar, Director with ISRO. My colleague Biswajit Saha and Mr. Singh, faculty, students, and all others from different organizations and schools who have joined us here.
You have gone on mute, Manojji.
Sorry. So let me, I don't know where I let off, but I began with, naming everybody, and then I just wanted to compliment Dr. Vaishnav for bringing this program together, and the three organizations, ISRO, ATL Innovation Mission, and CBSE. I feel for the sake of our schools and education sector, and for the bigger arena of innovation, organizations need to come together. And I think we can achieve our objectives much faster if we work in that manner. We have been, it's a pleasure to meet Dr. Sudhir Kumar here. In fact, we have been in touch with them. And I think after this program, we will strengthen our relationship. We want our students to visit ISRO facilities, to be exposed to different technologies. There's nothing like going to a place and actually seeing things happen rather than seeing them either virtually or in a book. And also, strengthen other programs. This program, I think, has a huge potential in terms of allowing our children to meet people at the highest level in various sectors, to come up with ideas and have an environment where they can actually see their ideas shaping up into something practical, real, which is related to the real world, related to the technologies around them. And it'll be a huge encouragement for the schools and students to avail of this facilitative environment in terms of innovative thinking, in terms of critical thinking, and believing in themselves, seeing their ideas come into fruition through the ecosystem which will be provided by this setup. The national education policy, all of you are aware, talks about this shift, a shift where to reap our demographic dividend, where a huge majority of our children are, or a huge majority of our population is still below 35 years. How do we create jobs for them? How do we make them skilled in what's going to happen in the future? And I think the big underlining theme is very obvious, similar to the Industrial Revolution when we invented energy. And this energy resulted in displacing physical labor in terms of machines which came into factories. It just changed the whole game plan. Earlier, physical labor had a certain role to play. It was totally displaced by mechanical labor. And then you had the factory system. And as a resultant concomitant factor, the schooling system also tailored according to a factory system where you prepared human beings to work in a certain setup. And therefore, there were constraints and structural constraints in the educational system. I think somebody, I'm forgetting the name, said that the best thing I did was I never let my schooling interfere with my education. And I think that's the kind of change which the national education policy envisages. You have artificial intelligence, you have technologies like this, which can take up the routine and work which has patterns, mental patterns and all, which AI can take over. Therefore, the human beings would have to look at work which complements this or augments this or is different. Otherwise, machines can do this work in a much cheaper manner and much more efficiently. And therefore, that calls for thinking, which is which is novel, which is new, a belief in yourself, a belief in your ideas, and none of this would work out unless we have a good ecosystem. And I think that is something very, very essential, and that is something which this event perhaps aims at. And as a follow-up, I think we should have an institutionalized ecosystem, because this should not be a one-time event. Just to give you an example, we have been training. We've been training our teachers, about 40,000 of them as innovation ambassadors. We would like them then to be linked up with innovation centers across the country, be it any institution. It's very difficult to replicate everything across different organizations. So I think that common infrastructure across institutions has to be brought together so that our student community can avail of it. And this program is just an example of that. And we will definitely, after this, meet separately to further institutionalize it. There is nothing like a child coming up with an idea and not being able to translate it to something which he envisages, because that will be a huge demotivation or a discouragement for him to think in that manner and to work in that manner and to put in effort in that. And a concept like space, which is also called the final frontier, I must again compliment the ATL Innovation Mission for the wonderful themes they have put up, and which are touching across a diverse range of technologies. And like Dr. Vaishnav pointed out, all of them would have spillover effects. It will bring about that kind of an interdisciplinary kind of a thinking when you're talking about space. And it's a very topical subject. I mean, we've been lately following the news where people either have been flying in rockets going across the outside the atmosphere and then coming back, a lot of buzz created around that, and so many questions about space which are being raised. And I think Dr. Kapoor also pointed out, Dr. Sudhir Kumar also pointed out about space, the finiteness, the infiniteness, the black holes. There's so many interesting things, so much of uncertainty, and so many challenges. The more the uncertainties, perhaps, as he said, the more effort you need to put in, and therefore the more learning you have. So it's a very exciting new beginning, and I must say that we should further work together, institutionalize it for the betterment of our students, and roll this program across the country in the coming years. Thank you so much, and I'm sure all the students who I would encourage to participate in very large numbers, all the students would strive to get the maximum benefit they can out of this program. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Manojji, for those words. And very rightly said, it is the coming together of partners and institutions like ours that will actually strengthen the ecosystem, and that will actually help us grow in terms of capacity building and the future skills. Thank you so much for those words. Dr. Sudhir, just for our students, because there are a lot of children who are going to be participating in this challenge, any thoughts on what are some of the challenges related to space that students can focus on and that they could think about when they start innovating for this challenge?
Yeah, definitely. See, this is very, Dr. Chintan has bifurcated the topic into four reasonable areas. One could be what I say, artificial intelligence, as Mr. Manoj also mentioned, because app development. App development brings in some kind of, let us say, coding skills, as well as, let us say, some kind of ingenuity, innovative thinking process. Yeah, whether you call it as some kind of mapping or some kind of, let us say, understanding the terrain and understanding the weather parameters, understanding the, let us say, forestry ecosystems, such kind of things. One app development could be one subject what I could see. Then one is space exploration, exoplanets. A lot of softwares are available. In fact, that's what wherever India people are getting attracted to NASA, ESA programs. So probably I don't discourage that attending to NASA, ESA, but I encourage to take the name of ISRO wherever it is possible. And definitely, see, ISRO is a forerunner. Probably, I think this is a platform where we can just give thought process. But ultimately, thoughts have to be generated from the schools, from the teachers, from the interested community. Happened to be, I just went to one of the Agastya Foundation, which is quite nearby to the Bangalore, where Ramji was the founder. Rather, he was taking it. I was amazing. These rural students were coming in batches, and they were being mentored. Then only I got a spirit of how actually the mentorship program can run. They are asking. The negotiation was there. The discussions were there. What are the social problems? The social problems could be very trivial. One guy said, my grandpa will go to the forest, not forest, fields, where he is alone. He has to spend nights. He may require some kind of time pass. For showing the way, he requires a torch. If in case something snake bite or something happens, he wants to shout and call the nearby people. They developed a gadget with AM, the FM radio, and a torchlight and a hooter. See, these are all social problems. The mentorship requires such kind of things through the teachers and through the, let's say, whoever the mentors all about, to know the social problems around them and bring out some kind of, it is only just AM or ATL mission is only giving the, let's say, such kind of platforms to transfer their ideas into a practical product or some kind of innovative product. See, Exomed, recently I had attended one jury for one private school. The eighth class and ninth class students, they were talking about exoplanets, how the exoplanets are invented by different people. But there are softwares available. Even it was amazing for me. Let's say rocket manufacturing. In the rocket manufacturing, these are all scientific principles. How actually we can increase the speed, we can change the direction, how to make it more versatile. Even small satellite CANSATs, a small CANSAT. So these are all the areas the students can definitely afford and apply their knowledge. Let's say parachute application, how actually a designated place, it will go up and come back to the designated place. What is the trajectory mechanisms that should what is the inclination that has to go, what velocity, shoot out. So these are all some of the things which will ultimately fortifies to a particular scientific principle or applications. Probably there are innumerable things when we deal and write more. Probably I think CBSE also can help us. We'll formulate some of the themes if you want, or if you can be open platform also to encourage more talent. But there are a number of avenues and opportunities. Even you go to any science center, let's say radar principle. What is radar principle? Away, if you just focus two dishes, if you just create a sound, and it will be, if you just put your ear onto the near the other side, maybe 120 meters or 30 meters apart, you could listen to the sound very clearly. See, these are all some of the scientific principles. You call it as optic principle, you call it as communication principle, you call it as simple machines. Anything which normally dealt in 8th, 9th and 10th classes will be applicable to any application, whether it is space or aerospace or defense, anything. These are all simple applications. So the teachers probably, I think they will transfer this particular basic fundamental principles into a small application so that they can start thinking how to make it big. When we could catch the signal 600 million kilometers when we are doing the Mars orbiter mission, it is not difficult for us to capture a signal when we go to the kitchen or to a corner room of within our flat to get our mobile signal. So what kind of repeaters are required? Is it possible to, let's say, increase the attenuation? Okay, such kind of things are always possible. What I feel is some kind of apps development, artificial intelligence tools, some kind of image building, something like that. If you can give for the students, I think it would be more apt.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Dr. Sudhir, for making it more real by giving great examples. And to add on to what Dr. Sudhir mentioned, apply your concepts from what you learn in your curriculum. And over and above, there are ATL modules which are open for all. So you'll be seeing a link which you can access. And through that, you'll be able to see the various ATL modules, including artificial intelligence that Dr. Sudhir was talking about, app development, and various other, even the space module. That's a good starting point. So if students have a thought that we are not from an ATL or we don't know enough about space to get started with such a challenge, there is enough and more material available which you could. So there's a way of those concepts into what you create as solutions. Shri Manojji, I have a quick question for you, for your thoughts on how do you think students can actually benefit by participating in some of these challenges, especially in terms of building their understanding about space and technology. So while the one side is creating solutions, and probably those solutions could actually be of national importance and would help us in and ISRO as well. But other than that, this is also a great learning opportunity for students to build their understanding. What are your thoughts on this and the importance of this for students to participate in something like this?
Yeah, I think taking off from what Dr. Sudhir Kumar said, I think it's very important for us to realize, when we are talking about problems, we are not talking about major problems or huge problems. We are talking about problems which might be available in your locality. I think the issue is the way we look at them. If we treat our local problems as first-class problems and give it that importance, and we are able to apply the latest technologies to solve them, I think that will have a multiple benefit in the sense of learning, and in the sense of bringing about development, and in the sense of bringing satisfaction to the students and the community on doing something which is really practical and real and benefits everybody. And like I said, nothing succeeds like success. It's very important for that. Again, I'll reiterate, very important for the student, once he has an idea, that the percentage of ideas we are able to convert into something practical. I mean, that's what our aim is. If the proportion right now is 0.001%, so let's take it to at least 2%, 3%. And that itself will help us discover, if I may put it that way, lost Einsteins. If you take sheer numbers, I'm sure brilliance is not a monopoly of some section of the society or a class. It's spread across children. And if you're not able to get those ideas and convert them into something, then we're losing out on brilliant minds, on brilliant ideas. And that is where this is very useful. Secondly, I think we had a talk with Dr. Vaishnav earlier. You see, we need to integrate all these activities. Like what is happening now is we are teaching space in the curriculum, or we are teaching something else in the curriculum, and we have a ATL tinkering lab, or now we have a program with space. We need to look at that, integrate activities. A lot of these activities can actually be project based, where you learn something. Simple question could be, we are talking about leverage space, we are talking about drones, we are talking about geospatial technologies. I'm sure children in the nearby area could actually look at that, what's happening to the environment. And then you learn about environment, you can learn about chemistry, you can learn about biological processes, you can learn about pollution, and perhaps from the pollution, somebody could link it to cancer, you could learn about health. So it's then that whole structured or a siloed approach to education goes away. I mean, you can't look at knowledge in compartments or packets. And I think, so these are all what we are making attempts, but let's say a small step should lead to a good outcome. We should know the direction we are moving. And this is where we are trying to move. So I think we will strengthen definitely with ISRO and ATL Innovation Mission, further working in these areas. Maybe we can come out with certain projects which we make a part of the curriculum. So you don't learn it from the textbook, you learn it in actuality. It will be linked up with ISRO, it will be linked up with the ATL Tinkering Lab. And what CBSE has been doing is it's been introducing, like we're one of the first boards, in fact, to introduce artificial intelligence as a subject. So we've introduced coding, a little bit about 3D printing. So making children aware about these technologies. But like I said, they're still standalone. So you're learning about them, and then maybe there's a tinkering lab which you've not really connected, and then you're not connecting it to actual problems which you are seeing in your locality and treating them, like I said, as first-class problems. We should not think small. Just because the problems are small doesn't mean it's small. I think it's a first-class problem, and the solution needs the best technologies available, and nothing more gratifying for everybody, the community, the society, and the school, to actually come out with the solutions. I think that's the way we are going we should be going, we are attempting to go. And like I said, if you learn like this, then it's an interdisciplinary learning. You learn across. You're aware about what's in your locality. You're aware about the power of knowledge and how it can transform society. I mean, that's what you want to do rather than thinking of knowledge as a separate, just a subject to be read in a book and then use that knowledge to answer something in an exam. That's not the real purpose of knowledge. So this kind of an approach, if we put it together and provide the environment and the ecosystem, then we would attempt to move in that direction, and hopefully for the betterment of our education system.
Thank you so much, Mr. Manoj, and very rightly said that this is really learning by doing in a project-based manner where you actually work on a solution and you use the various concepts you've learned through the exposure that the children have had, be it an ATL lab, be it the CBSE curriculum and the new courses introduced, or be it their understanding of space in general and their excitement towards something that is an interesting topic for children. So a call out to all students that this is a great opportunity for you to learn, to participate in something that is of national importance, is of global importance rather. And along the journey, this is going to be engaging and fun because there's a lot of interesting things that are coming up. You will, through the course of the next 30 days, you will be experiencing and participating and joining a lot of YouTube live sessions for understanding more on each of these themes and topics. And we will also have special speakers and key dignitaries who have done great work in this field, and you learn from their stories and experiences. You'll actually get a better understanding and ideas and mentoring through these sessions that we'll be organizing. And you will have the next 30 days to participate in this challenge. We'll just walk you through how you can apply and you can participate in this challenge through the AIM website and the link which you will be getting soon. But we'll walk you through how the portal looks like, where you can get more information, and I'll hand it over to my colleague to walk you through that. Swati, over to you.
Thank you, Dipali. Hello and welcome to all the students and teachers who joined us today. My name is Swati and I'm the innovation lead with the ATL team. I would like to walk you all through the application and submission portal for the ATL Space Challenge. To do this, navigate to aim.gov.in, the website as you can see on your screen, and you can see a banner here for the ATL Space Challenge. Just click on the banner and you will be redirected to this website. This is the application page for the Space Challenge. And as you can see, you can find all the details about the challenge here. This is the timeline for the challenge. We are launching it today and it will be open till 30th September. As Dipali has already mentioned, every Wednesday and Friday, AIM along with ISRO and CBSE are going to be organizing special talk series with space scientists who will be mentoring you all on different aspects of space and will also be sharing their inspiring stories with you. So stay tuned for that. As we move ahead in this page, you'll be able to see the 4 themes that we have talked about today: explore space, reach space, inhabit space, and leverage space. We request you to choose one of these themes and pick a problem statement under the theme. There are suggested problem statements already mentioned here. You are free to choose these or any other problem under this particular theme. As you move ahead, you'll be able to see important information about eligibility and team composition. One important thing in this page is also the terms and conditions. When you click on the terms and conditions, you will be navigated to a page which has important details about submissions, the kind of submissions we need for this challenge, and the team composition. So please read this very, very carefully. And finally, when all of you are ready to submit your innovation, please click on this link here called Apply Online, and you will be redirected to the application portal. Here, again, I want to reiterate, this is open to all schools and all students, whether you have an ATL or you don't have an ATL. In case your school does not have an adult tinkering lab, please click on no and you will see all the fields that you need to fill in. You cannot participate in this as an individual. You need to participate in a team of either 2 people or 3 people. So please choose your team size and fill in the relevant details. Fill in a teacher details, any teacher who's helping you participate in this competition. The mentor of change details are optional for those who don't have an adult tinkering lab. Here you can choose one of the themes that you want to participate in. Enter the problem statement, your innovation title, and the required fields. There are 2 submissions which are very important. One is a concept document for 300 words where you talk about why you have selected a particular theme, what is the idea and your solution behind it. Upload this document. And the second important submission is a video. We request you to record your team showing your prototype and explaining your solution and the problem statement that you have chosen. And share the YouTube link or the Google Drive link with us. The terms and conditions are also here. And once you're done with this, you can submit your innovation. So this is the process of participating in the Space Challenge. And I would like to thank you for staying with us today. And we wish you all the very best on behalf of AIM, ISRO, and CBSE. Finally, for the closing note, I would like to hand it over to Dr. Chintan. Dr. Chintan, request you to please address the students as the final closing note. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Swati. And thank you, Dipali, Ronak, Naba, Tanvi, Vishnu Priya. This is our ATL team without whom all of this would be very difficult to do. So thank you to all of you. I really have to tell you that I am really thrilled at multiple levels to see this challenge. And I want to speak to students, teachers, and if there are parents, I want to speak to them as well. But first of all, I think I feel very fortunate that these Atal Innovation Mission is able to come together with 2 extremely progressive organizations, ISRO and CBSE, to bring this opportunity to us. My mind goes to one of the great scholars that I was fortunate to spend some time with, Seymour Papert. Who worked on, he was a mathematician. He worked on how children learn. And one of the things that he said was that, you can't really choose what your children ought to do, but you can expose them to many, many things, and they will pick something useful and fun for them. And I think participating in this challenge is an opportunity for students, teachers, parents to have children participating, expose them to something that they may choose for their life. Also, I have to say from personal experience that as an undergraduate student, when I was in engineering school, my internship was in ISRO. And I have to say that this was one of the first time I had an opportunity to meet so many deeply knowledgeable people who were so dedicated to what they do. And it was absolutely clear to me even then that they could have earned 2-3 times more money if they went and worked somewhere else. But they were doing something exciting and they were serving the nation. And every day they felt like getting up and coming to work. When you meet these ISRO scientists, I bet you will also come away with similar experience. So again, that reason alone is a good reason to participate, to meet these real celebrities of our nation. Manojji also mentioned the national education policy. There's a very interesting linkage between ISRO and the national education policy, given that the author of it is Dr. Kasturi Rangan, who was also the chairman of the Space Commission. So there's a lovely linkage there. So once again, we invite you to participate and explore your sense of wonder. As Manojji said, pick a question that may look like a simple question, but will let you explore a lot of things. With those few words, let us mark this ATL Space Challenge for 2021 open. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
See you soon. Yeah,
Bye.
bye-bye.
Namaskar. Namaskar.